On this episode of Content Sessions, we talked to Matt Barnett about Bonjoro. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Good to be here. Nice and early and awake in Australia.
Yes. Yeah, so I think you guys are like a full 12 hours, aren't you, from us?
We are in the future. Yeah, it's 8 a.m. here.
Oh shit, more than 12 hours then. Damn. Well, at least it's not 5:30 in the morning. That's what it would have been at 12 hours. That would have sucked.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I actually did a call at 5:30 this morning. No, I got up for a call and the guy didn't turn up. Woo!
What a dick.
Story of my life.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm glad we were able to like turn it around and get chatting super fast. It was like a super whirlwind of a couple messages, and then bam, we were here. So tell the audience, tell the people that are listening about your product.
So run a product called Bonjoro. And essentially we are a layer that plugs into CRMs, mailing lists, customer systems. And what we allow you to do is to send personalized video messages. So to Jenny, to Brian, to Steve, at specific points on the customer funnel. So we tell you when to send these that help increase either conversions for leads, activations for new clients, or generally delight clients, which obviously leads to advocacy and growth. And that's it.
There it is. Nice and easy. And so talk to me a little bit about where the idea came from. So is it just you, or do you have another partner in the business?
Just me. So I have a team. So we're distributed. We're, I think now Australia, UK, Canada, America, Philippines, and South Africa. So joy. Cool. Look, we didn't set out to do this. So we actually had a separate business which still runs called Verbate. It is in video tech, but essentially it's a qualitative research tool where, for instance, we'll have a company like Huggies want to do some research on how people use the brand around the world, and they'll have people in Brazil, in Japan, in Korea, in the States, in the UK and Germany, answering a video diary over a week. And so I'll be filming how they use products, where they store it, what they do with it, their thoughts, and that will come back in and it gets used by researchers. So quite a niche product. I mean, it's a very big niche. But because that deals with large clients, so you kind of FMCG, large agencies, those clients are all in London, New York, and Paris. It's kind of the epicenters for those. We were born and bred in Australia, on the other side of the world. So as you can imagine, converting those leads, time zones, kind of difficult. You can't just pop it in for a meeting straight away. So in an effort to combat that, we're very good at pitching, very good at selling. We started sending video messages to every single client or lead that we had come in the funnel. So I used to take a boat to work. I'll be on the boat, wind in my hair. I'd see John from Ogilvy signed up in London. I sent him a message with the Opera House behind me. I don't even know if you could understand me, but I'll be quite excited. I'm like, hey, John, we work with Ogilvy. Right. You know, we work with Budweiser and Huggies and Danone. And, you know, I'm in London in 6 weeks' time. I'd love to come in and pitch you guys. Now, bit of fun. It's pretty cool, but we literally tripled our conversions off the back of that. So that was awesome. Pat on the back, off we go. But then one of those clients asked us if they could use the system. It was a hack. We do have a development team, so we were able to build it. We put them on, and then I think that the penny dropped when maybe 2 or 3 of their clients then came through and asked us if they could use it, and kept badgering us. And you know, me and my CTO were having a beer, and we kind of said, I think we're gonna have to build this. I'd never build 2 businesses at once. It's a stupid idea. Right. But lo and behold, turns out as people started to send it, more people jumped on board. That then overtook the original business, and it's kind of where the focus of my time is today. Got it. So a happy accident.
Yeah, no, and that's, you know, I've been talking to a lot of different CEOs and founders. That's the primary person I have kind of on the podcast. You wouldn't believe how often that's we were trying to do this, and then all of a sudden this thing popped up, or this filled a need, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, we got to turn it on. There's a guy in the UK that I met in Texas, actually. He built a product called Hey Summit. It creates virtual online summits, but it manages the whole thing for you. So all you do is put in the speakers, they upload their content, the attendees come in, it manages all the relationship, all the whole process. And they built it because they wanted to host a conference online, couldn't find anything. They're like, hey, we'll make it. shit, that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really good. Let's just turn it into a product now. So yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah, you got to find a need. And often solving your own needs. If you're like other companies, off you go.
Got it. And who would you say that your product is for the most part? Like, is there an industry, is there a type of business, or is it it can kind of work across the board?
Yeah. So honestly, this has been a journey of discovery. So we're a tech company. We're like other tech companies will use this. Tech companies, we do have SaaS companies. It's not our biggest industry. We have a lot of, I would say, so a lot of SMEs. In terms of categories, really it falls into services, so converting leads, obviously across the board. We have a lot of e-commerce clients. We have Patreon creatives using it. Really, it's a funnel-based product, so we tend to think in terms of jobs to be done rather than industry. It's any industry whereby 30 seconds of your time, and a bit of a human touch makes a difference to, or you think will make a difference to conversions, activations. So generally kind of a culture-based ethos, if you like.
Yeah.
Anything in a world where no one else is doing it, where which most people don't online purchases, if you can get that human element across, turns out it works really well. But again, the client needs to be of a size that you spending 30 seconds on them makes sense in your funnel.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and so the way that we've implemented it, so I discovered it. I heard about you guys on a podcast. Who the hell was being interviewed? I don't remember who it was. And they were using it for people opting into their lead magnet kind of thing, like going on to the next level. And so we do that. Like, we don't actually have like a course or anything, but we are building a list of people based on, content. Like, for us, we're very experimental. So we like to create content for the community. And then if people are getting a lot out of it, then we'll run it to try and build the email list. And so the other night, before I had it integrated, I had like 81 recent downloads of this thing that we made. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to put them in and I'm going to do them all in one day. And it was fucking hard, man. I got through like 43 and then my brain started shutting down. But I mean, man, the response rate to it is phenomenal. We got some great feedback from people who were just like, I can't, not believing that it's a real person that was saying this and that. And then what we've started doing is like, well, if you downloaded this, you'll probably like this free event that we're hosting in a couple of weeks. So now it's like a click through and get access to this event for free. And we're already seeing conversion from that. So, I mean, I think it fills a great hole in a place where like people are just used to these automated, boring, thanks for your purchase or this and that message that comes out of their Shopify store or off of their thanks for joining the email list. And this really, to me, opens up so many opportunities to bring a feedback loop or upsell or just make brand affinity stronger right off the bat.
Yeah, like it's brand. Like the strongest, anyone starting a business today, you already have a brand and it's yourself. And when you start to build a team, I can guarantee like yourself will get portrayed through your culture. The brand is not a logo. It's messaging, it's everything. So when you start to connect with customers, you don't have to have a logo, you don't have to have the website. You're already starting to spread your brand, your ethos, your way of thinking. And if clients resonate with that, they will come back. And given the fact that most businesses don't do this in the online world, obviously offline, we've done it for, forever.
Mm-hmm.
You used to go into the grocery and he'd remember your order and that kind of stuff. But humans are social animals and they're getting back to the stage where, we are craving relationships again. I think, work without relationships, it's shallow. We have them in our family, we have them in our friendships. When you're especially building online businesses in these bubbles that we exist in, like I say, our team are around the world in their bubbles, having those relationships back again really helps fulfill life and makes work more than just work. So if that's part of your brand, like it will cut through, customers will like it. And the back of that is you use that to then go and drive specific conversions or relationships that, lead to future business.
Got it. What would you say? So far, you probably get some great feedback from the people that are using it. Well, what's the best case study that you've heard about? Like, what's the best kind of use case you've heard about for the product?
Honestly, depends on the industry. Maybe I'll mention a couple. So there's a really strange one. Universities. Okay, so and that's probably not your audience. But they have a funnel. So universities convert students. It's big money. We had some universities pick us up and start to use it to offer places to students. So they had the deans and lecturers sending the messages, and they closed their numbers in 3 days compared to a previous year where in 6 weeks they hadn't closed the numbers.
Jeez.
Now, that is pretty impressive. And when you talk about that kind of money, you're talking, I think the quote was something like $8 million worth of business in 3 days. So, yeah, but it's a funnel, Otherwise, SaaS companies and course providers generally using it to decrease refunds and then to increase upsells. So you've got a lot of people actually with courses, you're selling additional courses that come on from that, halving refunds, halving churn, doubling upsells. This is kind of where we sit. So it's pretty impactful numbers when it works. Generally speaking, conversions, like a lot of people come back to us with the 3 times response rate number as well. That seems to be pretty much across the board.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I noticed even your flow of once you sign up, there's like the 5 days of lessons about how to like think about it, how to strategize, how to optimize it, how to use a product properly, so you're getting the most out of it, which a lot of companies do a really shitty job of. It's like click here to go to our support center.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on board, and you're like, okay, thanks.
I mean, with onboarding, like, we've tried everything. Yeah, like there's, like onboarding when you bring on your clients is either kind of like, I guess kind of feature-based onboarding, or there's education. We're trying more of an education strategy. So we found it's worked quite well for us. And I think bringing your clients to funnel, education over time does seem to be the better way to go. So education, and then within that education, you're burying features and next steps to take.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Have you guys thought about featuring and showing some case studies in terms of like, so I'm picturing it like, so someone's using it for something, but they're not using it for everything it could be. Like maybe there's another level or another idea, or they're using it at the end of a purchase, but they could be using it some other point. Yeah. Do you ever put out content like that where it's like impactful at different stages so people could see the picture of where else it could be used?
Yeah, so we have a lot of case studies, and we've been gathering a lot more in kind of recently. So we probably have maybe like 50. I mean, we tend to get clients obviously giving us like points, but also sharing the actual videos they use. Now, I think what we'll end up doing is, so we're kind of at the stage now with our numbers where we start to drill down and take different industries, different, I guess, kind of jobs to be done down different funnels. So for instance, with e-commerce, we'll be suggesting e-commerce case studies along the line. We actually have the next kind of version of the product coming out. I think it might be going live today. I think, fingers crossed. With that, you'll see a lot more specificity. So again, if you sign up with Shopify, we'll be taking you down an e-commerce funnel at different stages. Again, not quite that stage. When you start off, it's a numbers game. When's the effort of having multiple channels and directions actually worth it impact wise versus just having really good single funnel kind of content?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so how are you guys thinking about marketing now, like client acquisition wise? I mean, I'm guessing you get a decent amount of word of mouth referral. Like I know that I would guess there's probably 3 signups in the last 2 weeks that were directly from me, because I was like, you got to do this now. So I'm sure you see a bunch of that, but how are you guys thinking about marketing?
Yeah, so we've experimented a lot. So we're about 2 years old. We've experimented a lot of different channels. What we found worked for us, so we run an affiliate network. So this was actually advice from a few other SaaS companies in our space. We get a lot of referrals in. We get a lot of influencers doing referrals. So we've actually doubled down on that recently. So Ollie in our London team runs our affiliate network. If you ever want to be an affiliate, get in touch with him. It's just Ollie at Bonjoro.com. And what we've started to do more of is to educate our affiliates. So I think at the beginning when you do affiliates, you kind of just say, hey, be an affiliate, off you go.
Here's a banner ad, go at it.
Yeah, it's not the way to go. Yeah, you need to really educate people, bring them on. We'll actually train their groups as well, start to understand them better. So we start to kind of double down there. Influencers, podcasts, again, it still feeds into this kind of idea of kind of like referrals and advocacy. I mean, it helps that we kind of recognize everyone. We send Bonjours out to everyone who comes into our funnel, which is a lot. You do that enough, we tend to strike gold. People see it, they see the value, they take us on. It's quite a feel-good ethos that we're trying to do here, so bring humans back. So it's not exactly a hard sell as such, because again, the brand goes before the product. Which if you can do that for any business is beautiful, because your product can lag, but people will stay with you while you catch up. Look, otherwise, content, to an extent. Content is good for traffic. It definitely converts less. We have the viral component in the products as well. So people see messages, they come in as well. That, I think, converts like 40% for us. So we tend to measure per channel, per conversion. Some ad stuff does work. We're playing with it a little bit more now. You know, it all comes down to kind of cost of acquisition.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that we started playing with for a client of ours that's worked really well. Like, are you guys doing like Facebook ads and that kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah.
So, especially in the e-commerce space, one strategy that's worked tremendously well is there's a website called Built With.
Yeah, they're Australian.
There you go.
Believe it or not.
I did not know that. But if you get on like their biggest plan for a month, you can actually pull a pretty decent pool of emails from people. And the thing I like about it is, so for example, we did it with like Shopify store owners that are spending more than $100 a month in apps.
Yeah.
Right. And then, it's like a really active, a decent sized store. And then what we're doing is we're taking that list of emails and we're dumping that into Facebook. So it matches up with Facebook users. And then we're running video to them about like the how this can work for e-commerce, just like a general kind of commercial. And then from there, if somebody watches like a decent amount or they've been on the website, then it's primarily like remarketing off of someone who's taken an action, but only off of like a cheap video view. So we try and get as many views of it. And then someone who watches quite a bit of the video or actually goes to the website, we only remarket to them just because there's some intent. Yeah,
and so we've actually played around with Built With as well. It's really good. We do a lot of remarketing for us is key. That's kind of really where we get our kind of bread and butter on ads. We tend to find it goes through fluctuations, so we'll actually run it for a while and then we'll turn it off again. But that's just numbers game, I think. So obviously you'll pick up people for probably the first 2 months, let it go quiet, and then come back again. For sure. Again, it's not a massive part of our strategy. It's something that we're learning, because again, ROI. If you can do it for influencers, like honestly, at the end of the day, word of mouth is always the best source of traffic. It converts the highest. Yeah, and a lot of people just let it go passive. You can actively generate it. One thing to do as well, I think I need to focus on is how do you something that Pat Flynn talks a lot about this. How do you convert your users into super fans? And what that means is basically how do you convert your customers into active advocates? So by active, I mean they're actually going and talking and driving you traffic in. There's a lot of work and strategy you can do around making that happen. And most people just do not do it. And it's a lot cheaper than any other source because they're already your customers. But you do need to put some time and have a strategy of how you engage them. If you can do it and you can activate them, honestly, that pays dividends like you wouldn't believe.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so, and your kind of intent, even with influencers, to have them in the affiliate program, essentially. Yep. Got it. And then
everyone goes in,
Yeah. And then how do you do that? Is it, do you do like a one-time acquisition thing, or for the length of time the person?
Right, we do it. So we do a 30% affiliate fee ad infinitum. So if someone stays with us 15 years, you will get paid every single month for 15 years. Again, look, advice for us, and it kind of aligns with our culture and our brand, is look, reward people, be thankful, don't be stingy, and like help them and grow them. Yeah. And obviously if you want to reward, the more you reward, the better it is, the better the incentive is. But you find enough, a lot of our influencers, especially the larger ones, I think can't do it for love. And that sounds cheesy.
Right.
But I think the money is almost like, it feels almost like a thank you. It doesn't feel like it's making the money. They're like, oh, you guys, it's fine. Yeah. So we've done other things. We've like sponsored koalas for great affiliates, like kids. We've sent bear suits out for Halloween for their kids as well. So it's not just about the money, but you need to reward, you need to show recognition.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. One thing, so it's funny, actually, I kind of backed into this marketing strategy. So there's like a big influx these days of online learnings and online summits and these types of things. I found the software and I was like, holy shit, it's impossible to not do it based on how easy they're making it. But one of the things I was thinking about is like, okay, how do I get attendees? How do I find people that are a good fit to come and learn this material, and how do I get them to actually come in and do it? And so I started talking to some brands, and I was like, do I get sponsors for this thing, or like should I just, right, like who's sponsoring the event? But what I actually started doing is reaching out to people that I felt their customers or their following would get value from it. What I actually started doing is I'm taking on sponsors, but the only thing I'm actually getting from them is an e-blast to their list
Yeah.
to be like, hey, this is some cool free thing that's happening or some event. And then from there, you know, their logo is on all the pages. And so I feel like it's a really good trade-off if you've got an audience of people in a specific demo, or you feel like your email list is like really specific and you find things that align with what would actually make their day better, and putting out, like, helping them discover that content while you're like a sponsor, so you can siphon attention, siphon audience from the actual conference attendees.
Yeah, like I think there's some really clever models out there around, I guess, kind of reward-based incentives. So rather than just pay to play, I think there's incentive structures. There's many different ways of doing this, which benefits both parties greatly.
Yeah.
And it's more close to kind of JV scenarios. And at the end of the day, it's win-win based on effort of both sides. It can be smarter. It can get you through different people. We've tried a few paid things here and there. Honestly, free stuff works way better because the alignment, if you're doing that, is genuine. Whereas if you're paid, it's potentially not genuine. I mean, you can still fit it, but like it's funny, pay these things, it almost leaves a bit of a bad taste. Even though I understand the reasons why and the covering costs, etc. When you go the other route, like you're helping each other, and the content is always, again, more aligned. It's actually better value because it's done for the right reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, I completely agree with that. That's how we were thinking about it. Well, as we're approaching people to kind of go out and share this event, it's like, let's only do it if it will actually be something that person's not going to be able to deliver, but their audience would get something from it. And then just have them, share it with their group, and that'll make them a sponsor. And so it doesn't have a feeling of like, oh, well, I paid this much to be a sponsor, so I need to acquire this many people from it. It's kind of like there is no cost, a little bit of effort, but it's a good relationship building thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very cool. So where do you think the product's going to go? Do you have a sense, like, as you're kind of seeing it, as it's kind of growing, as it's kind of evolving, do you have a sense of where you're going with it?
Yeah. So if you dig down, we've done a lot of this around the last kind of 6 months into what's really happening. I'll say honestly, it's not the video part. I think video is a medium. Like we're on video right now talking. People have a need for taglines like, oh, video, I must do video. It's like that's like saying you must do text. It's purely a medium. It's actually what you're trying to do with it. So with us, the reason it's working is because people are taking time out of their day to recognize clients and customers. It's getting the brand across. It's getting the team across. It's earning trust. That's what we help provide. So really, that in mind, it's actually more about timing and where in the funnel this works. Video is an amazing medium because it's hard to fake. If you're there saying, "Hey Jenny, it's Tuesday morning. I'm on. Welcome to Australia."
Right.
Again, people know it's real. So that's what that provides. Now, if you dig down deep with that, it's okay. You go, well, what other points on the customer journey does it make sense for you to be spending real time with clients to drive higher lifetime value? So repeat purchases, staying with you for longer, advocacy, this kind of thing. So if you look at that, that's really where we're going to try and take it and extend it. So if you think of us as a layer that sits on top of a Shopify or a Patreon or a Intercom or an Active Campaign, any CRM, basically those CRMs handle all the automated messaging, which is really important. We then ping in and say, hey, look, at this point, you need to invest a minute of time in this client. If you do that, they're more likely to stay. There's a 20% extra chance that they won't churn, or 10% extra chance that they'll upgrade, and therefore your ROI is literally this. Again, if we're the platform that tells you to do that and then provides you the right comms tools to do that, which don't have to be video, that's the crucial layer. And so our focus is around this piece.
Got it. And so you guys are trying to build tools and resources essentially to be the the voice of conversion optimization, kind of
Look,
sounds.
Again, I think the smarts around when the personalization makes sense.
Yeah.
Because essentially it's like exchange for time. So, like well, we always say, automate processes, but not relationships. So that's kind of the idea is work out where to automate your processes. We come in for the relationship part, but it's an ROI. So, how much relationship can a minute of your time buy you? It's quite a lot. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a coffee or a meeting.
Yeah.
So being smart around that, and then again, there's tools that help you build those. Us building some of the comms tools that I guess are kind of smart around that. So obviously, videos will inevitably be a big part as we all start to go onto virtual reality. We would move into that. I'm not saying that's going to be a close thing. That's a long way away. But changing the way that people communicate, providing tools for those, being smart around it, and make sure that people understand that it is real. Like cut through all the bullshit. Excuse my French.
No, not at all. Yeah, no, I like that. And so do you have a sense, I guess it's kind of like you'll design product and design resource around as those opportunities kind of come up? Or do you guys have do you guys have a bit of a map in line of like some stuff that you're that you're implementing based on data you have so far?
So, like I said, we're launching new products today. It goes out. We'll be launching a tool called Campaigns a little bit down the line, which is more focused on goals and basically building Bonjoro into specific onboarding funnels, into conversion funnels.
Got it. Okay.
Built to work with different teams in the organization. So if you have your conversion team, you have your sales team, and you have your CS team, they're working different campaigns. So that's kind of the first step. And then what I call kind of workflows are going to build out so that we are, from CRMs, you can tell from the data that exists in a CRM and in a platform when you should trigger people to take certain actions that need a little bit of personal input.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because you've probably got areas where all of a sudden a bunch of contacts stay in one pool for a while, or move to close lost frequently, or all those little triggers of, okay, there's obviously some kind of hiccup. Now, would your intent be to provide almost like consulting to help people analyze that, or is it going to be like an actual just a tool that goes and kind of analyzes and decides?
Look, so tools really, I think there's a lot of smarts around it. Hey, look, I mean, look, culture-wise, we help everyone out, yeah? So if you want to talk, we'll talk to you. We tend to try and understand those funnels and then where this makes sense. We end up giving a load of advice on like other funnel inquiries too. So if you have questions, like feel free to ask us. It's learning for us too. But essentially, you want to have the tool that does a lot of it. There will be customization around that, and it will be industry specific. So obviously, something for an e-commerce client who's trying to increase their Trustpilot review rating, become number one, versus a lawyer who's just trying to convert more leads that come in the funnel and get this client to stay for longer. Different process completely,
right?
But same ethos and same mentality, and we're building the triggers and the kind of information around that. So there will always be customization you can do. You can always build it yourself. That's we'll advise on that. We're not going to be a consultancy. Again, it's the same for us. It's about scale and relationships where we need to, and then automating the rest.
Makes sense. One thing you could consider though that might be a good time investment, and it's like one of those things so similar to this podcast where like I'll record one with a real estate agent and then I have a bunch of answers for a real estate agent. What you could almost create a video series or a podcast around interviewing different people that have a different funnel, that have a different whatever, unpack that with them almost like as a consultation, but it's just like basically just sitting up on the top layer as a podcast. That might give you some really interesting consumer insights, just talking to a handful of people in a bunch of different industries, but then having that content to be able to scale out on YouTube and different places might give you some ammunition for that.
Yeah, so we're doing a series now on customer interviews. We've actually thought about doing a bigger series, and we've kind of got two ideas, and we're not like these are still in the kind of infancy stage. One is around culture. It's doing what we call a culture cabin. There's not a really good podcast which really digs down to culture across a huge variety of teams today. So everything from medical practices to universities to SMEs to SaaS companies. And if you think about obviously what we're doing here with the relationship side, it is driven by a culture and an ethos, decision before product. that aligns with what we do. And it's interesting to see how culture plays out into clients and how it plays out into growth. That's interesting. It's probably, it's a slight step away. The other way is what we found, and certainly I'm quite driven about, is the people who are successful, they do these manual tasks, they do the connections, they do the tweets and everything else, yeah. But they do them very, very consistently. And so they do them every single day. And so then you have, a piece where you're talking to successful companies, founders, influencers around what it is that they repeat that actually takes time. Again, and this is the point with Bonjour, is at the end of the day, we're not, it's not an automation piece. It's we're taking a lot of the process out for you, but you still have to put 30 seconds in and send a video. Yep. So if you're doing that every single day, your funnel's going every single day, and you're saying 20 every single day, it works over time. What other pieces are there in business whereby you're doing things every single day for clients? That over 2 years, 3 years builds up into a massive tidal wave of revenue. And how can other people, I guess, kind of copy that? Because I think these repeatable things that have this manual element, they're hard because everyone's looking for shortcuts.
Right.
And at some point, you're like, it's not shortcuts. It's find a process to scale those things that other people just don't want to do.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, I've run across some Facebook ads that I'm getting all the remarketing funnel for now, where it's like, hey, it's 2000 and whatever. It's 2018 or 2000. What the fuck year is it? 2019. Yeah. Jesus. It's 2019. Are you still having phone calls with prospective clients? Stop using the phone. Like, we'll automate everything. It's like, no, I don't think you're going to sell stuff without talking to people at some point, depending on the business. But you see some of these ridiculous things where it's like, you can literally automate everything and never talk to a human and grow your business. It's like, I don't think so.
Was it my head of marketing, Ollie? He has this rant. He goes on about like, he hates growth hacks. He's like, effing growth hacks. He's like, all you do is like, you do 100 growth hacks and one works, because everyone else is trying to do the same ones. And he's like, it's not about like, again, the hacks, like everyone's this mentality of like hack. It's like, just stop it. Yeah. Like, again, work out something that works, and then you can work out how to systemize and get into a process. That's the piece that scales. It's not hacking. That's, again, if everyone's doing it. And the shame, I think, on this is that you get a lot of new business people who come in and they go straight into trying all these hacks and all these shortcuts, when in the job they've come from, they weren't doing that and it was working. And so it's like, okay, like maybe just think about what worked, do that alongside, because you'll see businesses churn out and fail, and it's a hard lesson to learn, for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that, you're right. Like, people that sell or do marketing in bigger companies that have a sales team that gets on the phone, that sends the presentation, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, I can just YouTube growth hack my way to the top. It's like, people connect. They need to connect. They need human interaction, which is why I'm just fucking addicted to the product right now. It's like it's an unscalable thing to scale, but you guys make it the easiest I've ever seen. And so to me, that's where a product wins. It's like, what can I do that's still that level of personality that can bring a real connection, that isn't going to take forever. So yeah, you guys, I'm talking to everybody on my podcast right now about you guys and this Hey Summit, which is the online conference building thing. Cause I'm just like, neither of these things were ever done well before. And now I've just, in the last month, I've discovered them both. And I was like, yes, and they make my business way better. So I appreciate
it. And you should feedback. You should always feedback to us and to them, like what isn't working. Because I guarantee, like, again, the good product companies are looking for those insights as well. So don't be shy, don't be quiet and take what you're given. It's faster than ever to build things, and insights are hard to find.
Yeah. And I mean, we have a lot of, we do marketing for a handful of SaaS businesses, and like, they're like, oh, just send an email out to get to have people answer a survey to give feedback. I'm like, yeah, good fucking luck with that. Like, no one's going to answer your survey. Are you paying them? Are you going to give them a free month? Then they might, but otherwise, even then it's hard.
I think one of the problems is that we see individuals in the media who've got there, and the story they tell is always it's a short form of what happened. Like, I say to us, oh, we just discovered this, and then we built Bonjour, yeah? Like it was like a very difficult decision, years of work trying to get it there. Yeah, it wasn't like an overnight thing. Yeah, it's like compared to like the whole like young founder exit thing in SaaS, yeah, like in my industry. Everyone's like, yeah, these 25-year-olds selling for billions of dollars. The average age, like a founder exits a business, is something like 43 years old. It's not 23. There's a few of those guys, but all the guys that make the money, they're actually on their fourth business. The first three failed, and they kept going and they learned, and that's why they made money. Yeah. So the same with these growth hacks. Yes, some people get through and do them, but I can promise you, most people in the world, 99% who are making money, are not doing those things.
Yeah, and I think it's a big problem that actually forces a lot of people to fail because they see it as like, oh, it has to be this or it has to be that. I have to build it to a 15 or a $20 million thing. It's like, no, if you did really well in 5 years, you could sell it for like 3 and then be rich. And then like, but what's the problem with that? And everyone's
then start again, It's
yeah.
So I mean, like honestly, like screw everyone else. Yeah, like definitely keep your eyes open to the world, but find what works for you individually. Competitors, look at them, but honestly, like go your own direction. Don't copy people. Find out your own things. Do your own thing. Have your own brand. Hey, look, $3 million in your back pocket. Would you rather have a $50 million company where you own 5%, or would you rather have like a $5 million company where you own 100%? Like you make more money the other way around. At the end of the day.
Yeah, and really it depends on your ambition. For me, like do you want to have a team of like 300 or 400 people that like all this risk and all this stuff on top and all this the pressure of having venture over your head versus like just make a couple $1 million company? That's actually a lot easier to do by a lot. And then again, less pressure, less risk. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I mean, it's so sexy to think about making the unicorns and all this bullshit these days. I don't know.
I think people forget that $1 million is still, well, I was gonna say it's a lot of money. Actually, in Sydney with the housing price market, it's not a lot of money, but like $5 million is enough to get a good house, a good boat, look after your kids, etc. Like it's $5 million. Yeah, it's gonna take you how many years of working to get that? And then once you have that base, it's not 50, but you know what? It gives you a stepping stone. It gives you time, and then you go, hey, let's chill out 6 months and go right next thing.
For sure.
It's all stepping stones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like you guys are gonna, and you are obviously are doing well, but it feels like you have a really good winning formula. Like we talked to, I interview outside of this show, but I interview a ton of different entrepreneurs and see where they're at, see what they're doing. And I usually have a good sense of like, is that person on a really good track? And I love everything you say. I completely agree with it. And I fucking love the product. So it's great. It's all great stuff.
We should make sure you're an affiliate if you're not already anyway.
I'll get a link.
Thank you.
There you go. Perfect. Well, I'll tell you, you're a topic of conversation in a lot of the podcasts now because I talk to the guys that are like, oh, we can literally automate everything and never talk to humans. I'm like, no. And I try and actually pull them out of that space because even if you do a quarter of what your product can do, the impact is just profound. That human connection, someone feeling like you took time, getting that little bit of just that little touch of connectivity. I mean, it's just such a world of difference, whether you want to call that in the conversion space or just in the relationship building space. I mean, kind of goes hand in hand, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's incredibly impactful.
I mean, time's interesting. Yeah, it's 9 a.m. here now. I've done 2 and missed 1 product demo. I've already done and welcomed 30 customers with videos this morning on my balcony, having a cup of tea. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to the office today because we're doing this. So it's kind of 9 a.m. and I'm like, I've done a lot of impactful work. The rest of the day, I'm going to end up on product and design, which is a much slower process. But I'm like, you know what? Like, if my day stopped today, I've done like things that will grow the business, and that I know from my experience, like I've increased our annual revenue per year for 3 hours of my time, like worth it. So I mean that does come with perspective, yeah. Like obviously a couple of years in, you start to understand. You go, well, this is not making me dollars today, but I know that in 2 months' time, this means that our traffic will continue to grow. So like, a little bit of perspective. You got to have some patience. You got to have some confidence in what you're doing. But when you do, again, like you have those days where you do more in 1 hour than you do the next day in 10 hours.
Yep.
It's all perspective.
Absolutely, man. Well, look, it was an absolute pleasure to meet with you and chat with you. Where can people find you on the internet?
So go to bonjoro.com, completely free, 14-day trial. You will get a video welcome from us, if not me, one of the team around the world. Reply to that, and we'll talk to you as real humans. If you want to get me, sign up. You'll get my email address, and then just ping me a message. Here to help anytime. Happy to have a chat anytime. And that's it.
Awesome, man. That sounds great. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Awesome, man. Take care.